Hello traders, today is August 29th, 2024. I'm going to go over 13 different names today. Interesting trading session. Let's get into it. So this is not financial advice. This content is for educational purposes only. If you're thinking about investing capital in any type of equity, I strongly suggest you should do your own research and due diligence before risking your capital. That being said, let's start with AFRM. Well, earnings were yesterday after the bell. We had an incredible move of almost 32% today. I think it lost a little bit of steam during the trading day and then came back up a little bit. But you know, in this type of chart, you can really see it. But anyways, what's my take on this? I think it's great. We are at 41.6. At one point it was up to almost 43. Pretty impressive. My take on this: you are over resistance at 39.30, and what I think is that we might see a little bit of a pullback. Now, I could be completely wrong on this one, and I will show you why. But we might see a little of a pullback. I personally would prefer to see a pullback down towards 35, and there is where you're going to meet the 200 SMA probably, and then a continuation towards higher levels or higher areas. But now, that being said, if you see the reaction that a firm has had in some positive news after earnings, we can see this on what we have in November 2023. It had decent earnings, I would imagine. It was up 14%. Then you had a little bit of a red candle, but then it ripped all the way up to almost 50 to 52. Incredible. And then if you continue going back into this, you can see similar reactions. Like you can see it here. There was a continuation, a lot of volume. You actually can see it back here also with a gap. It actually had a huge gap here, and then it went up, and it went up to all-time highs. Then it collapsed, gap got filled, and as it happens quite often. And then, well, there is where we are right now. So I think there is this two, as everything else in trading, two possibilities. I think my point to this is the optimal move, in my opinion, would be going back under the support level, maybe feel a little bit of this gap towards its resistance at 35.6, and then continue going up. I think that there is more positives for our firm in the near future than negatives, and I'm saying this because of interest rates are probably going to get lower next month, and companies like a firm are going to definitely benefit from something like this. That's what I have for a firm, and let's go now to what do I have? Amazon. So an interesting reaction that we're having on the 200 SMA. You actually went down yesterday, but today you're basically mounting it, I would say. You're closing right down here, and your price right now is 172. At one point, I think we were higher than that. So yeah, during the day, there was a sell-off at the end of the trading day across the board. And I do believe there's, in some of these names, there's going to be opportunity. I did mention Amazon a couple of days back. And what I said was that you're probably going to be stuck in between these two areas. So my support right now is at 200 SMA. And my resistance, even though we have this at 175, you're kind of stuck right here too, would be the 35 SMA. I think if we break 175, as we did here, you might see a continuation towards 181. There is definitely opportunity here, but I personally I'm not going to touch it until I see a better move. There is also a good possibility that you go under the 200 SMA, and then you hit 167 and might go back up. In general, I am seeing a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but I'm seeing still weakness on the market. This is what I was also saying on, I think on Sunday's video. I feel like the market still has a lot of selling pressure, and it might last for the rest of the week, or might continue towards the end of the month. We'll see. But for now, I'm not touching these kind of names. I'm very familiar with trading Amazon. I like trading Amazon, but I don't see any setup right now. I don't see nothing on the MACD, nothing on the TSI. The RSI looks okay, but in reality, the way I like to trade for now, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Wait for better opportunities if we go down to 167, or if there's momentum going into 175. That's what I have for Amazon. Now let's do Bank of America. And I always mention this about Bank of America. I'm also familiar with this name. It moves very slow. I normally don't have a lot of patience, but I also like to trade this name because I feel kind of safe, I would say, for most of the times when I trade this. I was trading this name, I think, right on this area on the middle of the month. It was either on the 14th or the 15th. My thesis was that the optimal situation would be retesting this support level and then continue going up. I left my position on this candle right here. So I was green when I left. Anyways, what I'm seeing right now is that you're trying to mount this resistance level at 40.20, and you're also encountering that 35 SMA. MACD and TSI are looking positive. The RSI is looking good as well. I think there is probably gonna be a continuation on this move. I think JP Morgan also did or had all-time high. So I think we might actually see a continuation towards all-time highs, or at least a continuation to the upside. You don't have a lot of liquidity here, so we might see something interesting. I might, well, the setup is already gone in my opinion, for me at least. So this is what I was trying to get when I was here, and I like to get this type of setups on the MACD and the TSI, and then I assess my positions as they go. Anyways, histogram looks good. Volume is not bad. Again, it's kind of like a safe stock to trade. Talking about that, let's move on to a different sector, but another stock that behaves in a similar fashion, and that is Caterpillar. And yeah, we're here. I did post on this candle on X. I was saying if you break this resistance level, you're kind of flagging right here as well. You're probably going to continue going up. This actually moved very nicely. You're still green after hours, which personally I'm not, I don't care too much about that, but I think that the move continues. I did put another post on X just saying that the move is continuing. Now, there was a little bit of a lack of, I guess, momentum towards the end of the day, but a lot of names actually went down. Excuse me, towards the end of the day. Now, you're closing here on the 1 minute at least. Let's go to the 5 minutes and see how this looks. Yeah, you're closing with volume. That is that's a good sign. On this chart, I don't like much the what I'm seeing here on the MACD and the TSI, but we'll see what happens pre-market especially, and see if there is a little volume coming in. But I still like Caterpillar. This candle right here is a little bit, shows you a little bit of indecision, which is okay. There is not a lot of liquidity on this area. It's nothing, I guess, dramatic. So we'll see. I like this name. I think if you took positions on the 22nd or 21st, you definitely are green. And yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Anyways, that's what I have for Caterpillar. Again, this is one of the names that I like to trade because it moves kind of slow, and sometimes I like to get into these kind of things that are not too volatile, especially when there is not when there is uncertainty in the market. Sometimes it's easier to to trade these names. Let's actually do CAVA. And I have something interesting to point out on CAVA. And I'm going to mention some positions that I have that I got out of yesterday. And some of them continue to go in the direction that I was thinking, and some others are not. Well, CAVA is down today, 6.9%. And I think a couple of days back, at least like 2 or 3 days back, what I was saying is like, this is going to have to cool down, and look what is happening, right? So now you are well over or under almost 130 or 128. Now you are at 110. I wouldn't be surprised if this gap fills, and then maybe you get a continuation to the upside in that area. There is no volume here, and this is what I was saying before, that I didn't buy any puts, but I was almost certain that this was going to happen. It happens most of the times. Look how extended the MACD is, and the TSI. The RSI is also completely overbought. And if you go back, this is the first time, I guess, that we have this indicator so extended. So it was pretty obvious to me to kind of like see what was going to happen, and it's happening now. I'm not sure if we're going back to 95, but I think that we're going to fill this gap. There is some similar, I had some positions, and I will show you why I always try to get or to go short in that kind of setups. So CAVA was, as you can see, going parabolic after earnings and whatnot. Then ASTS also had some news or whatever, or earnings, I guess. You know, I have no idea. I know nothing about this company. But when I saw this, I was like, I'm going to short it. So I got some shorts right here on this candle when it was pretty obvious to me that it was going to fail. And then I got out here. To me, this was a pretty obvious setup. At the same time, however, I knew how risky it was. But there is a couple of things that I kept in mind. Was that the volume was going down, and you can see it when you see each candle, that the volume is just going down and continues to go down, even though the volume is high for this name. That doesn't trade at this kind of volume, but to me, it was pretty obvious. So I took this one, and then I took another one that I'm also not very familiar with, but the chart told me, well, makes sense to take it. And that is Rocket Lab. Kind of similar move. I saw this. I took a short position, I believe, on this green candle right here. No, actually on this one right here, on this red candle, because it was closer. So I was trying to anticipate the move. I do believe that this is going to continue going down based upon the MACD and the TSI. But I got out of this yesterday as well. So at this point, I was out. I was happy with it. But the setup is just starting, you know. So this also went down all the way. And let's do one more. This one was a very risky one that I was mentioning. I didn't have a position on that one. Because of Catalyst and the reason why this was GeoVax, why this was going up. So GeoVax went parabolic again. I've seen this name before. I actually made quite a decent amount of money a couple of years back on GeoVax. But when I saw this move, I was saying that it wouldn't be that maybe you can, I shouldn't say it wouldn't be a good idea, because what I was saying is how risky this was. But the move actually happened to the downside, and it seems like it's just going to continue going down. I wouldn't take any positions, I mean, personally, even though the setup is telling me, well, this might be a good opportunity. And the reason is because the volatility is still there. But look at the volume. The volume was very high and then completely collapsed. There was definitely opportunity, but what I was warning on this one is that this at least had some catalyst with monkeypox vaccines and whatnot, or therapy or whatever the hell. So when you see these kind of candles, it would have been a little bit, I guess, stressful to trade, but it happened. So I guess that's I wanted to mention that, piggybacking on what is happening on CAVA. I wouldn't be surprised if this on CAVA continues going down. This gap is probably going to get filled, in my opinion. And I guess if we get down to 95, then there might be an opportunity actually to go back up, or to actually, well, we'll see what the chart tells you at that point. But that's what I'm seeing now, and that's sometimes how I take some of my positions that I feel they're opportunistic. Sometimes they're pretty risky. So for that reason, I don't go too deep into those positions, because I just wouldn't like somebody mimicking what I'm doing without knowing that you have to get in and get out quick. None of these are, you know, I guess, positions that you want to keep for more than, in my at least the way I see it, for more than 2 days. Anyways, let's do Clover Health, and surprise, a similar setup right here. You're going parabolic, losing momentum. This still has a little volume, but losing momentum, and now you are at the price target that I was mentioning. We're at 275, yeah, 282, I guess, after hours. Was down 9% today, is down 2.1% after hours. The way I'm seeing this volume increasing on the sell side is telling me that you're probably going to break this resistance, this support level, and then continue going towards the 35 SMA. MACD and TSI are telling you the same thing. This might be an opportunity to actually go short. I was, again, I was saying that it would be optimal if you want to go long to bounce from here and continue going up. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm sorry. I don't think it will happen. I think this is just going to continue going down, and there is some news or some crazy meme reaction for this stock. But if that doesn't happen, I guess next price target is under 2. MACD and TSI, the histogram, everything is telling you. You can see the story right here. It's pretty clear, and I might actually take advantage, to be honest, of maybe buying some puts. Let me take a look. First off, if I can buy. Okay. Yeah, I do have it. I just want to see if I can buy puts, and I can buy puts on Weibo, and maybe October 4th, let's do October 18th. They're cheap. They're very cheap. So I might jump on this tomorrow. Yeah. So anyways, that's what I have for Clover Health. Sorry if you were like super enthusiastic about this move. Again, if we bounce here, that's awesome. If you break this, you're under 2, in my opinion. You're just dumping under 2. There is no volume here. There's nothing here. So, okay. Somebody asked on comments on a video that I made 2 days ago about HIMS. Let's take a look at HIMS. And let me take some notes first. HIMS. You're riding the 200 SMA. MACD and TSI are not looking good. I'm sorry. I do think that if there is no volume here, you're just going to break this level right here and go towards 13, and then we'll see if you bounce. There's got to be something going on now for HIMS, as far as either volume coming in or a little catalyst or something. It seems like it's losing momentum. It's pretty obvious when you see the chart. I did have a position, which I did buy some calls in this area right here, and I got out on this candle when I started seeing weakness. So I was, again, kind of like an opportunistic situation. So it was either this candle or the second, this little hammer right here. So yeah, I think it was on this candle. So anyways, I saw what was going on, and then I just wanted to protect my capital, and that's how I normally like to trade. So I got out of that, and then I guess I was right. You actually continue going up the next day, and then you just went down. So again, if you don't find volume coming for HIMS, I would stay away from it, at least for the time being. I don't mind this company, to be honest. I like the way it trades. I don't think it's a difficult name to trade. It, for the most part, has very decent setups, like this one right here, and then like this. Well, this one wasn't that clear, but you actually have a lot of going on. You have a gap to that needs to get filled down there at what is it, at 11. I don't think we're gonna get there. I think your next level is 13, let's say 13, and if you break that 200 SMA, and that's where you're sitting right now. I think I don't have anything else on HIMS. I want to see more volume. That's the only thing. I want to see volume or news or something. If not, I'm not touching it. Hopefully you're listening to that. Another name that I had, and I actually sold this one today. It kind of left me behind, but I was on IREN, and let me take some notes. It was interesting because I did buy IREN right here. I normally like to buy in this area on the MACD and the TSI, especially when these two are behaving the same way. In this case, it was a better setup for the way I like to trade, because you had the RSI crossing the signal line, the MACD crossing the signal line, and the TSI almost at the same time. And that setup normally pays off pretty well. Well, in this case, it kind of didn't. It went up. I didn't sell in this area, right? And then it actually had like 3 bad days. And today, after earnings, it went up almost 20% at one point. But since I was already at 20% on my options, and these were November options, but I still don't care. The fact that I saw those 3 candles that in the last 3 trading days was enough for me just to get out. So when I saw this move, I was like, well, I'm getting out. And I got out at 20%. So I made 20%. I probably could have made more. I was out, I think, on this red, on the first red candle. And then it kind of went down, and then it went up again. Up here, we were at 20% or so. And then, you know, it continued, I guess, losing momentum. I'm not sure what's going to happen. This is probably going to go down in the next few days. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin and some other names that do the similar things as Iris Technology or Energy. And but anyways, that's what I have for IREN. I'm glad I got out. Again, these 3 candles got me very nervous. And then after earnings, which was my last day for me to keep these options, and at that point, I felt like I was taking too much of a risk. So maybe my exit was a lucky shot, I would say. I wouldn't consider this a good trade, considering that the setup got invalidated in this area, and I still didn't sell my positions. I didn't have a stop, so my stop was like basically staring at the screen. But anyways, I got out at 20%. Not the best trade, in my opinion. Now let's take a look at another name, LUMN. And so what are you seeing here? This is similar to the other names that we spoke about. ASTS, CAVA, GeoVax, Rocket Lab, Clover. Now the setup is a little bit different here because you went up again. But what I like about this is what the MACD is doing. Now, the TSI already left behind before the MACD. I think that there's still a lot of weakness all the way down to this area, which is 184. Let's see how this trades. It doesn't trade too bad. And there is volume on, at least, you still have some volume, yeah. 18 million, yeah. So it's kind of liquid. I think there is opportunity here. This was on my focus list, but the only thing is that I didn't like how things were going here. I didn't like the TSI and the way it's looking, but I still like this name to the downside. I definitely see opportunity here. Keep this on your focus list. And again, all of these setups that I mentioned right now, and what I mentioned also during my analysis on CAVA, they all behave very similarly. And you know, there is opportunity every time you see a move like this, or most of the times to the upside. There's always opportunity to short. It's a little more risky. And when things are super low, or when the price tanks of a decent stock, there's definitely opportunity to the upside. It's less risky, in my opinion, when you're going long than when you're going short. Let's move on to the next name. Put this. Let's do Microsoft. I think I mentioned Microsoft 2 days ago, but let's do it. And the reason why Microsoft is on my list is because look at the 200 SMA. The 200 SMA definitely dictated a support level for this name today. It touched it, and then it went up again. Lost momentum by the end of the trading session. Actually, by the second half of the trading session, it continued. It had a continuation to the downside. That was a nice opportunity here. Look at this, right on it. So this, let's point this out. This is something very interesting. So you have the 35 SMA crossing the 200 SMA, one. You have the MACD, the TSI, and the RSI, the three of them at the same time crossing their signal lines. And look what happened. Wow, this was an amazing setup. This was when I see these kind of things, which happens almost never, I get super excited. Look at this. This is just perfection. At least for what I like to see on a trade, and especially when you see this on the 1 minute chart, that's gold. And you had, but look at here, you had a kind of like a similar situation, but you didn't have the SMAs crossing. Anyways, let's get back to this. I do believe that if you continue going up, there's a good possibility. It got rejected on this area. You're probably going to break 415. Again, there is a lot of indecision in the market right now, in my opinion. So this could go either way. 415 is your resistance level to keep an eye on. Also the 35 SMA. And now you have the 398. Keep in mind that if we can continue going down, these indicators are also going to cross. And normally that's a signal, at least for me, that a continuation to the downside will come. Again, there is a lot of indecision in the market right now, so it's a good idea to take it day by day. That's what I have for Microsoft. And let's do a name that I'm a little bit bearish about, and that is, where are you? Starbucks. And I did take some puts on a Starbucks right on this area. I got out, I think, in this green candle. I just felt nervous because actually, yeah, it was probably either this candle or this little candle right here. And the reason for that is because these indicators, the MACD and the TSI, were not actually starting to point down. And at that point, I was like, well, I better get out. And also, there was a little bit of a indecision on volume. I just didn't like it. I got out green. That's great. But I really thought that this was going to go down to the 200 SMA, and then, I could reassess at that point. Well, it didn't happen. It actually went up, and now the setup is looking even better. I do believe that if we have a little bit more of a red day tomorrow, I might actually jump into Starbucks. I did buy Starbucks calls on this area. Now I think I'm going to do puts because they look kind of obvious. I just need to see a more clear setup, and that is going to take one more day. Unfortunately, tomorrow is Friday, so I don't know if I would buy. If I buy puts tomorrow, they would be by the end of the day, so there is a full formation here. Normally, when I buy puts on or anything or calls on Friday, I try to do it right at the end of the day, and these would be puts that are probably October, end of October, beginning of November puts. Well, that's what I have for Starbucks. And now let's take a look at these guys right here, our friends from SOFI. And look at this move. Pretty nice, actually. It's breaking this resistance level that was, in my opinion, pretty stubborn. So you're breaking it now. You moved almost 8%, well, 7.2% today, but it was higher than that. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart and see what is that. Yeah, you lost momentum like pretty much every other name today. Lost momentum towards the second half of the trading day, but I do believe that there is definitely opportunity to continue going towards 921. Or let's say towards 9 or 9, the 9 area. There is low liquidity here, which is a good indication. One thing that I don't like is that these indicators are already a little bit extended, MACD and TSI. RSI is not overbought yet. So maybe getting another green day and retesting this would be fantastic, because then these indicators can cool down a little bit and give you a little bit more of a better picture, for lack of a better term. Also would be interesting to see how volume keeps behaving. But you know, it looks intriguing right now. It's interesting. You have a gap right here. Let's actually point this out as well. You have a gap right here that is probably gonna get filled. That's interesting too. So yeah, let's see a little bit of I would say, to be honest, it would be optimal, and this is a way I like to see if I like to enter a position or not. To see a little bit of chop right here, and then a continuation. You have this magnet right here. There is low volume. There is a price gap, and then you can move towards 9. That will be interesting to see how. Why did it? Oh, I'm using this level right here. Okay, it makes sense. So yeah, that's what I have for SOFI. Looks intriguing. Not an entry for me yet, but there is definitely an opportunity to go towards 9. As long as, again, and I'm basing this on the way I like to trade, there's a little bit of chop here, and I see a little bit of weakness, and then I would enter. But a good thing is that you're breaking this resistance level with volume. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. The weekly chart actually looks really good. So this changes things a little bit. If you're looking at the weekly chart, look at this. It looks pretty solid. This move looks solid. You retested right here, then you came back, and now you're back up again. That looks good on the weekly chart. Keep SOFI. A lot of people love this name. Keep SOFI in your radar. It's definitely worth it. And then last but not least, let's move on to, where is this? Tesla. I want to do Tesla today. Why am I doing Tesla? Let me remember why. Oh, yes. 200 SMA. Again, just a Microsoft. I think Amazon has the same situation. You're bouncing on the 200 SMA. You went over what was, I guess, the support level. Maybe you can argue resistance since you closed that right under it. And now you're back right on it. Let's go back to the 5-minute and see. Yeah, look at this. Right on this level. And I think you can, I don't know. Again, my range is 186 for now to 230. So this is where you're going to be playing, but you have this very nice support level, which is a 200 SMA, besides this one at 207. I do believe it's more important right now to keep an eye on the 200 SMA. It was resistance at one point, now is support. We'll see how this behaves. But I do believe that if you break it down, 186 is on the horizon, easy. And then if you continue going up, definitely you can maybe argue that you're going to go towards the 35 SMA. Another thing that happened during the day, but again, this happened to most names. Nice start. Then you had a little of a sell-off. Then you went up a little bit again, and then you got chop. And then by the end, of the trading day 2 hours before closing, you completely collapsed, and then you're closing right on support. That's what we have. It was 0.26, so basically a flat day for Tesla. This looks, you know, I haven't day trade Tesla in a while, but you also have this crash right here. You have these indicators crashing. This wasn't that difficult to spot, to be honest. Anyways, that's what I have for Tesla. Again, I'm keeping my range from 186 to 230. I think this stock is probably going to be playing that area. If anything, you know, if this continues going up, then 207 to 230 would be the tighter range. All right, traders, that's everything I have for today. I will see you tomorrow's Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a video tomorrow, but I will make videos over the weekend. Anyways, that's it. Bye-bye.